Your mind is a gate, but not to where you think you were born into a world already named. Before you could speak, they gave you labels. Before you could walk, they gave you boundaries. And before you could even ask who you are, they handed you an answer. A name, a story, a world. But what if everything you've been told about yourself, about the mind, about reality itself, was only one layer of a much deeper structure? What if the world you walk through each day is not the world, but your version of it? And what if your mind, this thing you call me, is not what you think it is at all? They told you the mind is a tool, a faculty for reason, a processor of thought, a container for memories. But the deeper truth, the one forgotten long ago, is this: your mind is a gate, not a metaphorical one, but a real functioning threshold, a hidden mechanism built into your being. But here's where it gets strange. It doesn't open outward. It doesn't lead to more thoughts, more information, or more external knowledge. It opens inward, into the structure of reality itself. Most people never realize this. They mistake the thoughts for the thinker, the stories for the self, the screen for the source. But you're beginning to sense something. A subtle glitch, a crack in the code, a silence beneath the noise. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Close your eyes for a moment, not to escape, but to enter, to return to the place you never truly left. Notice the thoughts. Now notice you noticing the thoughts. That space between the thinker and the thought. That's the gate. That stillness and that presence. It was never born and it will never die. It doesn't need a name. It doesn't need a form. It simply is. Most of what we call reality is not reality itself. It's a rendering, a projection from within the confines of perception. Color is not out there. Sound is not out there. Everything you've ever known has been filtered through the nervous system, translated by the brain, and woven into a narrative by the mind. You are not experiencing the world, you are experiencing a simulation of it, but not a digital one, not a computer, something far older, far more intricate, a living simulation, generated by consciousness itself. And your mind is the interface, the bridge, the threshold, the gate. Science tells us that time moves forward. But have you ever truly felt that? When you sit in silence, with no clock, no screen, no stimulation, does time move at all, or does it dissolve? What if time is not flowing, but looping? What if the future is not something you move toward, but something you remember? What if every moment is already encoded in the field of consciousness, waiting for your perception to tune to it, like a frequency on a cosmic dial? Your mind is that dial, and thought is just one channel. There are deeper layers. Beneath thought there is awareness. Beneath awareness there is presence. Beneath presence there is only being. You don't think your way to it, you fall into it. The gate doesn't open through effort. It opens when the effort stops. It opens when you no longer cling to the story you've been told, when you release the idea of who you think you are, when you allow the silence to speak louder than the mind. That is the first key. Many traditions have pointed to this. Ancient sages, mystics, philosophers, even quantum physicists. They all speak of a deeper order, a reality behind the visible one, a unifying field, a patternless pattern. In some traditions it is called the Tao, in others the void. In science it may be the quantum field or the zero-point energy. But words are just pointers. The truth doesn't live in language, it lives in experience. And that experience begins the moment you recognize the gate and choose to step through. But stepping through isn't dramatic. It's not a lightning strike. It's not a voice from the clouds. It's subtle, quiet, like remembering something you never learned, like waking up in a dream and realizing you were always dreaming, but now you're awake inside it. And that's when you start to notice things. The way reality bends to your state, the way thoughts shape outcomes, the way synchronicities multiply when you're aligned. This isn't a coincidence. This is the code responding. Because the gate isn't just a passage, it's a control panel. The deeper you go inward, the more outward reality begins to mirror that inner shift. Not because you're changing the world, but because you're changing the lens through which the world appears. So the next time you feel lost in thought, overwhelmed by the noise of life, ask yourself, who is aware of this? Who watches the mind race? Who is behind the eyes looking out? That who cannot be found as a thing. It cannot be grasped. But it is the one constant in every moment of your life. It is not the mind. It is not the body. It is the space through which all of it moves. It is the gate. And it's been waiting for you to notice it. You were never meant to stay asleep. You were never meant to believe the story was you. You are the dreamer, not the dream. The field, not the form. The awareness, not the actor. So now, the question arises, if your mind is a gate, and you are not your mind, then what waits for you? You're on the other side.